Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley.
I'm Gus.
After a rocky year of studio shutdowns, botched game launches, one really big microtransaction controversy, sounds like there's some major changes coming to publisher Electronic Arts, with some key figures at the company getting shifted to new roles.
Ooh, and judging by some new statements, it sounds like we're not only looking at personnel changes, but changes in the way the company handles itself and its relationship with gamers, because now they're vowing to be better.
Well, I mean, look, even last year they were also claiming the company had a players first mentality, so I think it's going to take a lot more action before things like vows hold water. But before we get into the promises themselves to turn over a new leaf, let's talk about what's going on for the company.
Wallets are part of players, right? The new shifts in management were announced this week in a letter EA CEO Andrew Wilson sent out to the company.
And if you were hoping that those responsible for the fiascos of the last year are suddenly getting shifted around, sort of. It turns out a bunch of people are getting promoted and they're moving around into different positions. So kind of, they're definitely making changes to the big structures of the company.
Former Vice President of Worldwide Studios, Patrick Soderlund, will now be the company's Chief Design Officer. If you've got no idea what that means,
I don't.
We don't blame you. Wilson clarified by stating that Soderlund now will be responsible for delivering next-generation game designs, driving our marketing teams on creative content and meta game experiences, and approving innovations with our central technology teams that will transform gaming.
So very clear.
Huh?
In addition to the changes in position for Soderlund, we also learned Laura Miele, formerly Executive Vice President of Global Publishing, will take up the spot vacated by Patrick Soderlund as EA Worldwide Studios Chief Studios Officer. Another name you might recognize is Blake Jorgensen, who's now going to serve in dual roles as the COO and CFO. Ooh. He gets 6 whole letters.
Double threat. All of this comes in the wake of a, let's just say, tumultuous time for the company. Over the last year alone, Electronic Arts has struggled with the abysmal launch of Mass Effect Andromeda,
R.I.P.,
the shutdown of Visceral Studios,
R.I.P.,
and semi-cancellation of their Star Wars project,
R.I.P.,
the shutdown of BioWare Montreal,
R.I.P.,
and the PR disaster that turned out to be Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Well, that one's still running.
Yeah.
The effects of the last one, Battlefront 2, were obviously pretty far-reaching for the entire industry. I mean, it resulted in a both global and industry-wide conversation around microtransactions, loot boxes, whether or not those types of things are suitable for government regulation. Ultimately, EA decided to remove transactions from the game entirely, which they did right before Battlefront 2 launched. But, you know, then they did also announce that they were going to come back, which they're doing with the next update, along with Ewoks. Look, I'll be honest, I like Ewoks. I was a kid when the Ewok movies came out, Battle for Endor. I'm not gonna lie, I dug it.
Jup. But apparently all of those rocky times caused the company to do a whole lot of soul searching, and now the company is going to be better and do better by its customers, or at least that's what new Chief Design Officer Patrick Soderlund claims. Soderlund said in a new interview with The Verge that the company was pretty affected by what went down in November.
Soderlund said, "I'd be lying to you if I said that what's happened with Battlefront and what's happening with everything surrounding loot boxes and these things haven't had an effect on EA as a company and an effect on us as management. We can shy away from it and pretend like it didn't happen, or we can act responsibly and realize that we made some mistakes and try to rectify those mistakes and learn from them."
And so far, they've definitely made changes to the game, completely reconfiguring the progression system and shifting the nature of the game's loot boxes.
Pink Darth Vaders for everyone.
But Soderlund, you get a Darth Vader, you get a Darth Vader, you get a Darth Vader. Okay, I'm sorry. But Soderlund said that's not all they need to do in order to change the relationship the company has with its players.
Soderlund went on to say, "It's clear to us that players see the company differently than we do. And in that situation, as a member of the executive team, as the guy who runs all of the studios, I have to take that seriously. And we have to continue to listen and understand what's triggering that. We have to be very cautious of what we do."
Of course, the big question is going to be whether or not it's too little too late for gamers, but at the very least, they're saying some of the right things after everything that's happened.
The thing is, though, it's not like they haven't said this kind of thing before. Back in 2013, they totally did the same thing after they won the coveted Worst Company in America poll by Consumerist for the second year in a row. The first year, they beat out some real juggernauts, like the companies responsible for the biggest oil spill in history, as well as the financial crisis. Lesson there being, gamers get angry.
Yeah. So back-to-back champs, baby.
Hey!
Then head of sports division Peter Moore wrote this on the official company blog. "Are we really the worst company in America? I'll be the first to admit that we made plenty of mistakes. These include server shutdowns too early, games that didn't meet expectations, missteps on new pricing models, and most recently, severely fumbling the launch of SimCity. We owe gamers better performance than this."
Moore went on to say, "So here's my response to this poll. We can do better. We will do better. But I am damn proud of this company, the people around the globe who work at EA, the games we create, and the people that play them." And then he went and showed his tattoos.
I forgot about the tattoos. How could I forget about them? Well, then he went and left the video game industry altogether.
He ran out of space to put tattoos. Figured he was done.
Done. So this is all a little bit been there, done that as far as the company goes. We'll just have to see what their actions show, especially in the kinds of games they choose to develop and how they monetize them after launch.
It's gonna take years, really. Thing is, it hasn't necessarily hurt them where it really matters. After they did see a bit of a hit to their bottom line during the Battlefront 2 controversy, their stock prices have soared to literal all-time highs. At the moment, aside from getting more game sales, there's not a lot of incentive to do anything else but pay lip service to the idea that, hey, they'll do better by gamers. So as with anything, time will tell how committed they actually are to this and what that means. I think Battlefront 2, the changes they made to the progression system are the right changes that they should have made to the game. You know, it's hard to say if that's just course correction to try to save the game or if that's going to be the start of a larger trend with EA.
Yeah, we'll find out. What do you guys think about EA's big management shift and their comments about what happened with Battlefront 2? Let us know in the comments.
And for future updates on major developments from gaming's biggest publishers and whether or not they're real sorry, remember to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
The new shifts in management were announced this week, and
microtransactions, it's in the game.
Wilson clarified by stating that Soderlund will now be
another name you might recognize, Blake Jorgensen. Shit. That's the only. Damn, gotta go back up. Sorry.